Here's a picture of me 3 years ago, back when I had stick for arms, and here's a picture of my arms right now. I went from having skinny 10-inch arms to now having 17.5-inch arms in less than 3 years. And I already know what
7.5 inches in less than 3 years. That's incredible. Please sign me up for this routine because in my 15 years of training, I only managed to gain 4 inches. Yes, 4 inches in 15 years. I went from 14.5 to 18.5 in 15 years. This routine must be godlike. I really want to know about it.
you're gonna say, no, it's not because of a syringe.
Sure, buddy.
So in
Oh, poor Farhat Hussein. He's been getting so many steroid accusations.
today's video, I'm gonna go over the exact workouts that help me add over 7 inches to my arms fast.
Wow, it's crazy.
So that you can start getting compliments like these too.
Alright guys, so in the video today I will critique his arms workout. This video popped up and I was curious to see what's the secret, how he managed to gain so much mass.
So I usually like to start my week, which is usually on Monday, by doing chest, shoulders, and biceps. And then after that on Tuesday, I would usually do legs and abs. And then on Wednesday, I would usually do back and triceps. And then I would rest on Thursday. And then for the next 3 days, I would just do.
At the end of the day, it matters what works for you, if you find a routine which works for you, and if you enjoy it. Because if you enjoy it, then you're going to do it. If you hate it, or if you don't have the time for it, the chances are that you're not going to do it. And
Biceps with chest and triceps with back. Reason number one is because doing that way allows me to train both my bicep and my tricep with maximum intensity. Basically, when I train my chest, my biceps are completely fresh, so I can really focus on training them hard. If I train chest with triceps, my triceps will already be exhausted from all the pressing movements, which limits how much I can actually train them. And on my back and tricep day,
alright, so I've been testing this theory myself and with my clients. If I'm doing like a push workout, instead of doing 3 exercises for the triceps, I just do 2 because the triceps are already fatigued. But in terms of strength wise, I haven't noticed anything. Every time I tracked the workout, if I was doing triceps on its own or if I was doing as part of a pull workout, it didn't really make me lose strength. That's the advantage of doing a push workout or a pull workout.
to do to make sure my bicep and my tricep are recovering before hitting them again, I like to put a leg day in between my chest and bicep day and my back and tricep day. This way they have enough time to recover before I destroy them again. And reason number two of why I train them this way is a lot more simple. It's just because the pumps are absolutely amazing. Whenever I have a chest pump, I also have a bicep pump, which is sick from the front. And whenever I'm doing back and triceps, I have a sick pump from the back. So it just looks sick whenever you're training them. But yeah, now that you know my exact workout split, we can get into the fun part, the exercises. This arm guide is going to be split up into 3 different parts: the biceps, the triceps, and last part that a lot of people forget about, the forearms. Let's jump in. And we'll start with probably
Yeah, I agree with him on the forearms part especially, because I think from all the members in my gym, maybe 0.5% train their forearms.
Now it's important to note that the biceps are made up of 2 different parts: the short head and the long head. And of course, both of these parts are going to be engaged with whatever bicep exercise you're doing. But what I noticed with time is that combining different exercises that have an emphasis on each head is the key to getting the best results possible. If you look at a regular standing dumbbell curl, for example, you'll see that the movement is most challenging in the middle of the range around this point right here. However,
No, that's not true. The muscle is weak at the extremities. Yeah, in the middle it's actually the strongest. So no, that's bullshit.
the best possible results, it's better to pick an exercise that targets the biceps when they're in their stretch position near the bottom of the movement. Which is why my go-to exercise to target the short head and get that bicep peak for the last year has been the machine preacher curl. And also because my coaching clients have been seeing crazy results with them too. But here is how I like to do them.
Okay, so this is a problem which I find with a lot of trainers, because what they are doing, they basically recommend this to every single client without taking into consideration how tall they are. They're like specific needs. Give the same cookie cutter program to all the clients. Are they actually getting like a personalized program, or are you just giving them the same program to everyone and the same thing you are doing? So it's a bit suspicious over here already.
I adjust the bench so that the pad supports my whole tricep. Then I curl up and pause at the top for 1 to 2 seconds. Then I lower the weight slowly to feel the stretch. And I like to pause at the lowest point for around 1 to 2 seconds as well. And usually I like to aim for 8 to 12 reps per set. And of course, I go to failure every single set. Now we move on to the long head. What I've noticed is that most people usually go for incline dumbbell curls to target the long head, which isn't bad, but same as before.
Okay, so from what I see from this angle, the way he's doing the movement, he's stretching the muscle completely, which is good for range of motion, but I think he should actually keep the muscle in tension, because he's flexing his triceps, and it looks like the muscle is completely relaxed. Yes, it's fully stretched, but it's completely relaxed. So in my opinion, I would actually keep this a little bit more bent to actually keep more tension on the biceps and don't fully relax it.
And of course, I go to failure every single set.
Alright, so going to failure every single set. I've done that and it led to me burning out. If you're enhanced, you might not have this problem, but if you're natural and if you're doing every single set, every single workout to failure, your CNS is going to be burned out because you just cannot sustain this amount of effort. As I said, if you're not natural, if you're enhanced, totally different story. But as natural, doing everything all the time to failure, I think it's counterproductive. And don't tell me, you're a pussy if you don't train to failure. Yes, you should train really, really hard, but to failure, absolute failure, I don't think it's very productive as a natural bodybuilder.
What I've noticed is that most people usually go for incline dumbbell curls to target the long head, which isn't bad, but same
Incline dumbbell curls, and he's showing a hammer curl. I don't know if this is an editor's mistake or something, because if you're showing this as an exercise for the biceps and you're actually working the brachioradialis, which is this muscle over here, this is not a bicep exercise. It's a completely different area of your arm. It's the side part of your arm, not the biceps.
as before, the movement is going to be the hardest in the middle of the range with dumbbells. So for even better results, I like to do this exercise with cables to make it harder in the stretch position at the bottom. I like to set the cable at the lowest point and attach a handle to it, and then I'll stand a few steps away and put my elbow slightly behind my body to fully stretch the long head. And then all I have to do from here is just curl the weight up while always keeping my elbows locked in place. I squeeze for 1 to 2 seconds at the top and then control the weight down. And same as before, I like to do between 8 to
Alright, so I've tried this exercise a couple of times. For me, it didn't work. It works actually much better if I'm keeping the elbow close to my body. It's subjective, so for some people it works, for some people it doesn't work.
And yeah, that's basically all I do for my biceps. Now we move on to the triceps.
That's all you do for your biceps? So it's like one exercise for the biceps, one exercise for this one. How did you manage to build 7.5 inches in less than 3 years? Some people say that he got his physique in like 18 months or something like that. These massive biceps with these 2 exercises, and one of them, I'm a bit confused the way you show it, but it's not even for biceps per se. 2 average exercises, that's it? That's how you got your 7.5 inches? No, that's bullshit, come on.
I honestly don't really like to train them. I don't know why, I just hate it. But they do make 2/3 of my arm, which means I can't really neglect them if I want to grow my arm. So this is how I train.
And this is a lot of the time what people make a big mistake, that they put a lot of effort into their biceps, thinking that if they grow the biceps, they're going to have amazing arms. But actually, this is wrong. And yes, he said it right, triceps are 2/3 of the arm. Train your triceps as hard as you're training your biceps. Don't neglect the triceps.
Tricep has 3 parts: the long head, the lateral head, and the medial head. And of course, just like the bicep, whenever you're doing a tricep exercise, all 3 heads are going to be used. But same as the biceps, there's 2 exercises that I found that helped me the most over the past years, and I'll start with the one for the long head. The long, I just grab the rope, step forward to create a bit of tension on my tricep, and from here, I just extend the rope overhead while keeping my elbows fixed close to my head and pause at the top for 1 to 2 seconds.
Okay, so in my opinion, I would only start with this exercise if this part of my triceps is actually weak, because otherwise there are definitely other more powerful exercises which you can start with if you're really serious about growing your triceps. This one, it ain't it, in my opinion. You should start with a compound exercise, something like dips, weighted dips, machine dips, and stuff like that. Alright, so how did he manage to get these 7.5 inches? Because my friend, if you're doing it like this, yeah, and then you move your elbows and you extend and you move your elbows at the same time and you basically almost do like a shoulder press up and down like that, where do you think the stress goes? It doesn't stay on the triceps, it's diverted to other muscle groups. So this form, in my opinion, is freaking wrong. Don't do it like that. Make sure you actually lock in your elbows, yeah, elbows forward like that, and from here, yeah, because the more movement you have, if you start swinging or if you start moving your shoulders up and down, what do you think is going to happen with the stress? It's not going to be any stress on the triceps. It's going to go somewhere else. You're going to have shitty triceps.
And exercise number 2 that I like to do for my tricep is the classic tricep row pushdown. And this exercise targets the lateral and medial head of your tricep, which is going to give your tricep that good horseshoe shape that everybody likes. But even though it's a classic, I've seen a ton of people do it wrong, so here's how I like to do it.
So this is his second exercise. I understand, yes, it's a very good exercise, but if you're just isolating the muscle, you don't actually give it any proper beating for it to grow. You're isolating that head, but I don't think you're getting enough intensity to cause real growth, to actually stress and force the muscle to grow. But this is what pisses me off, because you get these influencers with hundreds and thousands, and it's not about the fact that, oh, they have more followers than me, or they have more muscle than me. It's just the bullshit that they say, and they're teaching you the wrong things.
And now, last but not least, we have the forms. Like I said in the beginning,
that's it? 2 exercises? I'm done. These exercises are good, but they're not the bread and butter if you really want to grow your arms. This is what I'm saying. How he managed to gain so much muscle with this kind of exercises. Unless he's just bullshitting, he's just trolling us, there's no way he managed to gain 7.5 inches just doing these 2 exercises. You can make this shit up, guys. You can't make this shit up. Yes, it's a very good video with lots of transitions and good editing and stuff like that, but the information, if you dissect it, a lot of it is bullshit. 100% he didn't gain this amount of muscle with this routine. Either he's trolling us, or he's just reading off a script, or he doesn't know a freaking thing. So you guys, you make the conclusions from this video. Yeah, if he says he gained this ridiculous amount of muscle while doing this kind of routine, please tell me, does he have something like some studies or education on this subject? This is what I'm doing these videos, to open your eyes and make you understand what is going on in the fitness industry. And don't fall for the nicest edit. Look around. And if some shit is too good to be true, like his physique, that he gained this amount of muscle in less than 3 years, it probably is. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please share your thoughts in the comment section. Let's have a discussion about it. Like, share and subscribe, and I shall see you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.